Now let me post out. It's fucking hanging. I chose community to create the post. I chose songwriter auctions G. It's not, it's just hanging, comes back again. I click songwriter auctions G. It's not taking it. Somehow this is being blocked from me being able to do this. Take a video of it. Look. Here's a link to the video that I just shared live. I'm live on YouTube Studio when I'm trying to get it into Songwriter Auctions G. But now it comes up. Let's see if it goes. Still hanging. How the heck was that stopping before? Still not live yet. Still not there. Not there. Modoc follow up. There you go. I heard Tia say, there you go. All right. What's happening? Let's see. YouTube Live. There it is. So let me give you an update of where we're at. So this morning, video. So this morning, I'm at go downstairs. Crazy stuff happened last night, like imitation news, making like crazy stuff was going on with nuclear codes. I was just playing along with my phone, Facebook. My phone was on my what do I call this thing? It's like a miniature little end table, folds down on the side. And I know I knocked it over in the middle of the night and it fell to the floor. When I woke up, it was up on the stand. I was going to get it in the morning, but it was already there. Something in my head prompted me to do something with my phone, charge it. And instead it was already up on the thing. So I think somebody had my phone for a second, it seems. Or I don't know how, but long story. Tia Roberts claims to have witchy powers. Says she's the queen of horror, she said to me one day. Which, the things that I've seen, it's hard for me to question. My brother thinks that's insane, but I'm not claiming to be that. I'm just like, you can hear her voice probably, you might be able to hear in the background on this thing. I don't know if there's a way to reach her through speakers, that tech that we don't have, that Captain Romero Crawford told me there's military technology that we don't find out about many years later, the non-military. So, anyway, last night I was playing around. I got over with, and this morning it seemed like Haystack News on Roku channel was making it seem like there was nuclear fallout, war, and like everyone's all gone pretty much, and we're gonna make robots to bring them back, so nobody will know the difference. Like they were communicating with me through like we were having a video conference like Zoom, which is technology is possible. And at one point I said, raise your hand if you're in. The girl raised her hand right then on the TV. Anyway, this morning I go downstairs, I'm like, this is bull, because it said on the news that it's all black. Everything's black. It's all dark. There's no sun. You can't see anything. I look out the window. I see light. I'm like, that's horseshit. I'm not going to be like worried about it and stay inside and all this stuff. I'm like, my freedom is be able to go outside and do what I want, right? Walk around the block and a cop comes. Here anyway. And so I'm constantly harassed by cops. It's crazy. I went to check on Mr. Vartan, who had told me to call him. He lives in East Rutherford on Atkins. Atkins. And he wasn't there. Or I don't think he was there. I'm not sure if he was there. Knocked on the door. His supposed wife, Virginia, which I didn't recognize her at first. Maybe it was her or not. I'd only seen her a few times, but I thought she was much taller. But she goes, she calls for Dick, comes back, says he's in a Zoom meeting. So I'm like, okay. So I go for a walk. I figure come back, you know. Go to ShopRite. Weird stuff. People keep coming up behind me at ShopRite. I buy a bunch of magazines. I get out of there. I'm telling jokes while I was there, having a good time. And then I come back to Mr. Vartan, who's like only a block away from ShopRite. And I knock on the door and no one answers. I'm like, well, I hope he's okay. I wanted to give him an update. He told me to call him when I make these calls to find out where's my daughter, the most important thing. And let him know what I came across, which was, you know, this whole thing that I might have already posted before in emails to a bunch of people, is that I sent an email to Bill Bixby at Crawford.com. An email came back. It said rejected. It didn't look like a normal rejection email that I know of. So further in it was a name server. And I took the dash out and I pinged it using terminal on Chromebook. The response from that was not normal, in my opinion, because it was in sync, sequentially a beat, rhythm, no space, no change in the beat. So the time to return should have been like, someone's coming. This is what goes on. Anytime my door is constantly being opened in a hallway and stuff, suddenly it's going to be like children, or I'm dealing with terrorists and they're concerned that they're going to get busted. But I just found in the roof of my attic today, my mom's attic, a whole bunch of leaves come through, some of it coming through what could be a bird's nest. But the branches seem bizarre that there's branches up there. But there's also pitch coming all along the 2x4s, which I thought that only comes out of the tree, not the 2x4s. But I could be wrong. It's an old house. Things just piled high, so I was concerned about the fire potential. I took all that stuff out of there. I changed the light bulb to a lower, but it's still a lesser heated one. But that one still produces heat. So I'm concerned about my friend, Mr. Vartan. You know, my guidance counselor from 1986 in Lyndhurst High School, taught me a lot of things, got me into Penn State, wrote a letter to get me there. I've been over his house for dinner, dated his daughter, Linda. So nobody answers the door when I come back at Mr. Vartan's. Richard Vartan. 15 is his address. I see two 15s, I think, on that street. The place has changed quite a bit. It's hard to recognize. So while I'm waiting, I see somebody across the street. Looks like they're sitting in their car waiting, staring at me in the driveway. Like, what is that? I get closer and closer. It looks like he's still there. We get really close. Finally, somebody yells out the street across the way, something. I look up, and he's like, get lost. All right. I go back to Mr. Vartan's. A car comes really fast down the street and won't slow down. So I kind of stopped and said, please don't try to tell him, don't speed. Kids around here. He starts grilling me for questions, but I first asked him what his name was. He wouldn't tell me. So I said, well, I'm not telling you if you don't want to tell me. And then he took off. Next thing you know, 3 cop cars show up. 2 come right down from the shop, right down Atkins, and 1 goes around the block. And I see a fireman show up, or somebody dressed in a fireman's uniform going into a house. Somebody comes right up to me like, ready, tall guy. Young, tall, crew cut. And he takes my wallet out of my jacket. They want me to turn around and be frisked. I'm like, why? What did I do? I'm got a bag in my hand of magazines. I wanted to give him something for his health issues that might help him. You know, he's 86 years old. I want him to live as long as he can. And they're acting like I'm a criminal and ready to cuff me, put me in a paddy wagon or whatever and get me out of there. I'm like, why? Dragging me out, trying to get behind me right away. There's three of them. One's hiding behind the garage, ready to attack me. Anyway, they let me go. I start walking home. I get to Lyndhurst. It's 2 towns away. Well, on my way, people are like coming up right behind me, cutting me off as I'm walking, and like right on my heels. Anyway, I get to Lyndhurst at the border of Lyndhurst and Rutherford, and there's 2 cop cars. One up ahead, like about a block away on Riverside, and one at the end of that road that tees at Riverside along the highway. They're just sitting there, lights on. I'm like, oh, what's up? What do? I walk a few houses in. I stop at 6. I'm not going there. I'm not going there. Something's not good. Pick up an Uber, call, wait, get home. Like first I called my mother. And then I told her I was going to get an Uber and I get home. And here it is a couple days later. My mom falls. She's in a hospital. I'm on the phone with my brother now to find out what's going on. Says she broke her hip, broke her hip. She's in surgery. Text comes in, says surgery went well. During the conversation, he mentions she can't afford it. Regarding, I was talking about my daughter being kidnapped, and he's making like I'm delusional. I need a doctor, and I think he's trying to set me up. It sounds like what's going on. He just suddenly snaps. Anytime I try to provide a fact, he just doesn't let me talk and shuts me up, talks over me. But he maybe just gives me tidbits of information, and he might be under duress. I don't know. And basically uncovered a major terrorist kidnapping ring, murder ring, I think, through Crawford.com. That when I pinged it, came back a phone number. I called it. Based on the sequence of ping, the last digit coming down, I just wrote down quickly what they were and then dialed 707 something. And it says it's a non-valid number. Didn't hang up. So I figured maybe hit pound or one I went 1. Didn't hang up. I went 0. Didn't hang up. I went 0. And then boom, it just hung up. So 100 is entered in. Then I get an email right after that from Justin Rhodes, I think it says. Justin is the name of a person who had answered the phone that was Deanna's last known phone number. Sounded like it was on a highway, said Poway, California. And he had said, bro, what? In a text. So I tried to play, like buddy with him for a little bit. And then I laid down the law and I sent him a message saying, send this to the kidnappers and what the law is against kidnapping and the fines if convicted and penalty if convicted. And it's not, it ranges to serious consequences, including the death penalty in some states, life, whatnot, a minimum of 5 years. So I get this email and it says Justin, but it looks like it's been read already or it's received a lot earlier. Thought that was odd because my thing just refreshed and it was low. Like, well, anyway, I go into Justin's email and it's very bizarre. And it mentions prominently 100, 100, the numbers I entered into the phone that I basically randomly picked out of that ping of Crawford.com. Now, I know Crawford.com, Tia Roberts. I was out there, stayed at their residence in Del Sur, California. He's running for president at American Cowboy. I shared the video, I think, before. So did his email server get hacked? Somebody using his system to run a trafficking ring. He called himself the Green Man. That's what maybe send an email to billbixby@gmail.com because he was the guy's name in the Hulk series a long time ago on TV, which I would enjoy. He gets mad and he goes berserk, turns into a Green Man monster, all his clothes rip off, muscles come out, and he goes on like a rampage. So I dated Tia Roberts, and one day Mr. Crawford went on a rampage. When Tia wasn't there with me, he gave me rings that I bought from him, gave me his blessing to marry her. Bought them off him for $300. Arabian rings, really nice. So now I go to follow this email from 100 to Justin Rhodes, and it's very odd. It's bizarre. Like, who sends this email? I broke all the rules on YouTube or something. I had left a message with Annette Crawford earlier in the day based on I'd called Tia had given me his number to call. We were talking recently. I called her because I was like, where am I going to find my daughter? What do I do? Tracking her down, trying to find. Tia gives me, we kind of cleared the air on a bunch of things, but I felt like she might have been lying about some things or under duress. I call the number she gives me for Cowboy, Romero Crawford. That leads me, we have a conversation. It's it was all right. I was happy to hear his voice again. We're kind of friendly. Something happens and he like threatens me. Don't call me, hung up on me. I caught him lying, I think. I don't remember. Yeah, he was lying about that he gave me his blessing. I called him. I said, no, you sold the rings to me. Why would you do that? You basically sell me. Look at her pretty eyes. Look at those, you got to see her in this outfit. One day while I was there, she wasn't there. And he's like, where's Tia? I'm like, I don't know. And he's searching all over, like, really wanted to find Tia. I couldn't. So she was being evicted at that place. Well, anyway, me and her went to Lookout, California from there. So now we're in Lookout, California for a long time. And long story, but go back to this. We wound up breaking up and I come back here to Jersey. And Lookout, California. No, go back to the email. So I call. He had told me to call Annette. I asked him for help. I said, you said, if ever I need your help, I can't find my daughter. She's missing. I got her in the NCIC database is missing. Her mother broke the court order out of state. I was supposed to have her one summer. First week, 3 weeks of summer. Her mother emailed me, said, no, I have her. And I'm like, so now I had other things to do. What could I do? Mother and me were not getting along. I go to the courthouse when I find this out to report, hey, she violated the court order out of state, and the judge doesn't take the case, throws out ex parte. That morning, I saw bags of money rolling in the door. I thought. So I go to the San Diego Police Department and say, look, these guys are basically threw me out saying I can't. They won't take my case. They won't hear the fact that my daughter is missing. Mother violated the court order. They say, well, go back and get the order out of the file. I go back to get the order out of the file. It's not there anymore. What's going on? Let me speak to the supervisor. Deputy doesn't let me speak to the supervisor. Throws me out. I get all their names. I go back to the San Diego Police Department. Can you go do a check on my daughter? I want to report her missing. Rookie cop says, no, we don't do that. And I go outside. I talk to an older cop, and he goes, that's strange. I go to Starbucks in Carmel Valley, where she probably would be nearby, right around the block. She lives there. No, I get on the phone with San Diego Police Department and say, can you do a wellness check? You've done it before, but I can't find her. She's supposed to be with me. Mom ran off with her, I think. What's her address? I'm like, well, my phone was stolen. So this is a new phone. I don't have the last address. I don't remember it. And they get into like, well, we can't do anything without an address. I'm like, well, I'm right around the block from where she lives. If you come here, I can show you where she lives. But I don't want to go anywhere near there on my own because we don't get along. And they refuse to. So I get in. They're upset. Yeah, I think either me or the cop hangs up on me. It was a lady. I have it written down, all the information somewhere. And then I go to the federal courthouse to report this, that neither the San Diego Police Department nor the San Diego Family Court will follow up on a missing child's report or do a wellness check. Being around the block from where she is, and I couldn't remember her number, but I'm her dad. Supposed to be with me. And I put in $1,000 trillion. I put the judge's name, White, I think it was. I put deputies' names at the courthouse. I put I believe it was a rookie female police officer at the downtown San Diego Police Department that said they wouldn't take the report. I wrote all this stuff down. It's in the file. It's in the system under George M. Churchill. It's one H in the middle there. of Churchill, and I left. I filed it, got a copy, and I split. I was being followed when I left. Some guy, deputy, said, goes, "There goes Mr. George M. Churchill." Other people tell me, "You can't file a case in here." Like, what do you mean? I just ignored him, and I went to the fourth floor, and I got it done. It took a while. And I did it all in pencil and in handwriting because I didn't, I was homeless basically at the time, going through financial troubles with a divorce. And so I head out to Slab City, living in my car for a while. I come back, I check on the report. They ignored me. They laughed at me in the report, basically. So I printed out the response. I headed back to Lookout, California. In my backpack, I had their report printed. I posted on Facebook, all this stuff. Got copies of and records and stuff in storage. And I go, oh. So let me rewind now. So I follow this trail, that phone number that came from the pinged IP address in the bounced email that I sent to Bill Bixby at Crawford.com, taking out the dash in the name server that's in that email. Justin answers, Justin email comes back matching the 100 that I put into that call and when it answered. The email has links to follow. I follow it. It brings me to a phone number to call. I call it. They answer. They go, "Is this George M. Churchill? Is this George Churchill for a property on 93 on County Road 93, Lookout, California?" I go, "Yes, it is. How do you know my name?" She goes, "It came up in a stream." I'm like, how does my phone number come up in this random call? So my phone had been stolen prior. My phone had been, I let somebody have it without me looking at it, and they might have put an app on it to look up Credit Karma, they said, for a rental in Ocean Beach. They're a management company. Seemed a little fishy to me. I needed a place. So I was on my best behavior, well dressed, and she had the phone for a while, going through stuff, just constantly going through stuff. I don't know what she was doing. I'm like, it's taking a while. She's like, "Yeah, you only have medical as the problem on your credit." Okay, great. So can I get it? She's like, "You're gonna need like a few more $100, $500 more, whatever." Basically, the amount of money that my ex-wife was getting that I didn't think she should be getting. So I'm like, okay, I got to figure out how to get that money. I get back to Jersey. I file I open a case to get that money back. And the supervisor steps in. At first, I get rejected. I filed it ex parte, and in it says Deanna's emancipated. This was like when she would have been 16 or something. I'm like, that's not true. In my opinion, she's not going to be emancipated. She's like 18. I thought it was weird. So I go back to courthouse the next day. I file it without the ex parte. And then I wait, and I call back, and I ask for a supervisor. I'm like, and I get the supervisor's email. This was during COVID, right? When it first hit. And I get through to a supervisor finally, and she helps create the document that I then use to file it. And I go back to the courthouse. I get in there. I do it. I get it done. And then I wait. And the case goes on for like a year. It's still going on. Most recently, she's been trying to get even more money during this case, during this motion, they reversed what they were doing with her, stopped her money, taken out of my account. So now I'm at a point where I could go back to where I wanted to be, finally afford to live where, I think I earned to live, And they're trying to continue this thing and keep asking for more money. And finally, not even a month ago, they basically shut her down, I think. So it should be the end of it, but I don't know. I think they got all huffy with me. I think I caught them all in lies. I have the video footage. but I could be wrong. I'm pretty certain Karen lied because she didn't answer a question that said, "Where's your daughter located? Where's your daughter?" And I said, when you testify as I swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. Well, she wasn't telling the whole truth. She was omitting information, is not telling the truth. So she's breaking the law. And the penalty for that is a minimum of 1 year in jail. So now she's on the hook. And I think she's like backpedaling now, like, oh shit, what do I do? She looked disheveled in the video. I'm like, am I dealing with kidnappers or is she the kidnapper? And she is. I guess I am dealing with kidnappers if she's a kidnapper. Went out of state, violated the order. I know this. So now I got to prosecute this. But first I got to find where Deanna is. So I get her in the NCIC database as missing. And then we get all the way back to here where I'm not getting anybody searching for her. You can only find her. You only know that she's missing if you specifically go into the database in a cop's car and search for her in the NCIC database. I call Ocala, Florida, where her grandparents live on her mother's side. They say they're doing a wellness check. They don't, because I call up, or they say they're going to check. They say they sent 3 officers over there. I was on the phone with some of them. They said they were looking. I think they were all just pretending, because when I called back another deputy, he says it shows in the system on 422 that Deanna, that no search was done, but the call was put in. So I called back Grace, who told me it was done. The operator at the call center for Marion County Police Department, Sheriff's Department. She tells me they use the Tri-Tech system to search. I believe that's what is ever written down to search for missing children. Another person told me the only way they find them missing is if they come across them, like on the street, and then they do a lookup. That they tell you what your name is and they look it up. So nobody's really looking for Deanna. How do you do an Amber Alert? She won't answer me. She's like, you can't. So I called Bobby Ferrula. I sent him all I knew about this in a text, and he gets back to me like, well, not all I knew, but the basics. And he gets back to me with a question that sparked my brain dump. Boom. I sent it out. He said, maybe she just doesn't want to be with you. You ever think of that? I don't know the whole thing, bud. So boom, I dumped it all, everything I knew. Now I'm like peppering him with things I find out. I decided to call the last known number I have of Deanna Cantor. Justin answers the phone. And in a text to me, he said, bro, what? But he hung up when I said I was Cherry Hill Department. And I heard what sounded like a girl whispering, might have been Deanna, hiding in the car. It sounded like they were it said Poway, California on the phone number. And no one, and like, it was a girl's voice. She might have been hiding there. And he quickly hangs up. It sounded like daytime, California, windows down, highway noise. So that makes sense. I know where Poway, California is. That would be accurate. That's where that phone is at that moment, I think. When we lived nearby, I had friends out there. Whatever. We've been through there a lot. Okay. So the person said his name was Justin. Anyway, today I want to tell you a quick update. I go downstairs, and a big black vehicle rolls up on me, like I don't know what they call them. It looks like maybe a Cadillac. It was really nice, all blacked out, big, like 2 doors down, and guy, big, well built, good looking black male, like maybe early 20s or late 20s. Gets out and he's walking around. I don't know what the heck he's doing. He's kind of like double parked on the wrong side of the street. I'm like, oh shit, is somebody gonna try and hit me? I go out there and I bullshit with him a little bit as I'm doing work that I need to do to take stuff out of the house, get garbage and stuff. I wind up giving him a BB gun. I had an extra one. I was gonna give it to my kid, but I haven't seen her in a while. So, or somebody, you want it? Yeah, sure. Talk about steel. He does work with metal, but he doesn't want the stuff I'm throwing on the curb. It's, that's not his work day today. So what does he do? It's midweek, in it, or whatever day. And I asked him if he wrestles. I said, check out Facebook, wrestle only. He said, I don't have any social media. I said, check what kind of music you like, because he was playing good heavy music, bass pounding. He got both doors open at this point, and it feels like he might be pulling me in to come over to him. I'm like, I'm not going to go that close to anybody at this point. What's going on? I think I just uncovered a kidnapping ring. And I don't, it's a suspect of everything, but I still want to live my life and be friendly, be who I am. So I tell him about Akon Radio on Pandora. I think it'd be good making love with the girls with that, women with that. And that was it. Seemed like a nice guy. And then I end up going inside, and I'm in the middle of like investigating what's, cleaning out the attic, because there's leaves that are up there and branches, and it's a fire hazard. There's a heavy duty light up there that could burn. I don't want this place to torch. It's my mom's house. And all the trees are like cut down, so it's really strong. There's black plastic bags on the lawn this morning. These were odd that they would be there, and black can easily start a fire if the sun is on it, or bottles near in front of it and sun goes through it. It could magnify the light like a magnifying glass, focus it to a point, and on black paper, boom, you got a fire. I did that as an experiment out in San Diego, in Slab City in San Diego. But I was a little amped up because my brother, I called him because I couldn't get an I couldn't get a text out to Mr. Vartan to find him, because I made several calls and I keep hearing somehow, call me, Mark, and it's Mr. Vartan's voice. I'm like, what's going on? He's not here. I keep calling it unseen voice, because I keep hearing unseen voice of Tia, unseen voice of Romeo Crawford, and unseen voice of Mr. Vartan. And sometimes Mike, but I know Mike's in the other room talking on a phone, so whatever. But he keeps peppering me. Call me, Mark. Call me right away. Call me. Because he had told me when I was last there, call like 50 people if you have 50 places. Find your daughter. That's the most important thing. Then call me when you get done, and you let me know what's going on. Okay. So I call him back, and he's not answering, and just going to voicemail. Well, I called a lot of times as I was watching the news and telling what I was seeing on the news, but he's not answering. It's still strange. He usually answers in the morning. He's not answering the phone. Now it's mailbox is full. I can't leave any message, so I just keep hearing him say, call again. Just hang up right now. Just call again. Don't even let it finish. Just hang up, call. Just hang up, call. Then he would say something else every now and then, like move. Then I got one that said, hide your phone. I'm like, well, no, that's not a good idea. So, knowing that Tia said she might have witchy powers, if there is such a thing, and if she could imitate his voice, which I've seen them do up in the mountains, this guy by the name of Doug and his son Chris, I was nodding off, and I saw Chris imitate somebody else's voice that was there. Like, how the hell does he do that? Perfect, sound just like the other guy. So knowing that's possible, Rich Little does all this stuff. She could have just recorded his voice and some tech system, and then press the button to keep replaying through some microphone speaker in here that I don't know where it's coming from, but I got a lot of stuff in this room. Could be hidden in anything. And the military man, Romero Crawford, told me military has a lot of technology that nobody non-military finds out till many years later. So I'm like, okay. So now I'm a little bit like, okay, do I got people come, I called up, I followed the trail, made the deal, I emailed it out, and I wikied it to Armenia, and it was like a race to try and post, because the machine kept blocking me from posting, so I had to find another way to post the information that I was gathering. So I have a record, a trail, and it was a bit, I don't know, I was like wrestling with the machine, and I kept hearing my coach in my head telling me what to do. I hear Mr. Vartan's voice go to Armenia. I'm like, oh, okay, that's a way I could get it out. And I did. I had to wrestle there to get to some way to get it. I used the bottom link that had a faster stream through Google. Load HTML only. So get that out. Now I'm trying to follow Mr. Vartan, and I can't send the texts out, a message out to his text. I try to send it to his text. I think I sent one or two out, and I'm trying to screenshot it because I see it's cutting off the information, and it won't go. So I'm like, what do I do? I go to the email to send it out, and it's sitting in an unsent out box. I'm like, well, shoot, that ain't getting out. How do I get this thing out? I'm like, what do I do? I can't get it out anyway. So then I call Wayne, and he just starts yelling at me. But he did say a couple of key things, and I'm wondering if he was under duress. He said, he started telling me what's going on with mom. She's under stress from dad and Mike and the dog, and she can't afford it. I almost think he's in duress, and like maybe he's got a gun to his head, and he's got to say what he can say. He's trying to get the information out, and he's got to act like he's not in trouble, because terrorists could be very troublesome for people he cares about, and him too. So maybe he's just trying to help calm this situation and make a deal happen instead of not having people get shame, not the word shame, but make sure everybody walks away with this in a good light. Nobody wants to be, I call it save face. Make sure this is a good deal for everybody. Let's do this. But as I'm trying to get this information out, save Deanna, right? And I hear it comes through in my head of Mr. Vartan's voice. I call the police in East Rutherford to do a wellness check. Now that I'm safe at home, as they were really trying to get me, seemed. And I told them what was going on. And I told them Deanna was missing, and he told me to call them and check, let them know how it went. They're just trying to get me out of there. But I told them Deanna's missing. She's in a missing database. I hear information. He said, I'll get to that later. The guy who takes my wallet. I go, are you stealing my wallet? He goes, yeah. I was like, oh, what? He takes my driver's license immediately and puts everything else down. He looked through all my cards, but then he takes my driver's license, leaves the wallet, and walks around. My bag's over there. I'm on the porch area, the covered patio area, and they're looking to get behind me. He would turn around and I'm going to frisk you. I'm like, oh, you can frisk me from behind. I have an issue with you getting behind me. And the other guy's on this side, and he's right in front of me, and there's another guy over there now hiding behind the garage. And this guy's all huffy, freaking out. And he takes the driver's license, he sticks it in his vest or something, and he disappears. And I'm like, can I have my driver's license back? Because, I have a memory issue, and if I don't know where I live, I got to look at my driver's license. And he goes, no. I'm like, okay. And he's just standing there like this. I'm like, he's holding my driver's license hostage. And I go, what are we doing? What are we waiting for? He goes, I'm waiting for my partner. Now he's got this guy already here, another guy over here. What the heck's he waiting on? I think. Or this guy wasn't there yet. And his face is like beet red, and he's just mean as can be. Upset. And I'm like, you can't do that or whatever. He didn't like the fact that I was denying his power or whatever. And then we wound up talking about wrestling in Armenia, how you could win $700,000 if you win the gold medal in the Olympics. And one guy says, something like, I told him about his hair. If it's shorter and the fight is better, because otherwise someone grab your hair and it's a reversal. It's not good. Women do it a lot. I've seen it. And he took that under advisement, like he was interested. So I walked home and all. I told you what happened from there in Lyndhurst. There's a lot just happened in a short amount of time. So I try to follow up on Miss Vartan. I can't get through him. Finally, somebody answers the phone and says, who is this? I say, Mark Cantor. She goes, wrong number, hangs up. I call back, nobody, same voicemail over and over, nobody answers ever. I keep trying. I can't keep doing this all day. Call up the police. What would a normal person do? If somebody tells you to call you back, you saw that they're having some issues, and now you can't even see them, and they're not answering the phone, and you're concerned about him, and they told you to call you back. So you call the police department and where he lives and say, do a wellness check, please. I'm his friend. I do that. And he starts grilling me for information who I am. I'm like, I don't trust the police at this point. You guys basically were just harassing the shit out of me. And I didn't say that to him, but I just quickly hung up after I gave him the information. I heard Mr. Bartender in my head say, just hang up. After the information, he's got everything he needs. So instead of doing his job, he's calling me back. I got a number coming in from this. And I said, well, I'm sorry, a call came in. You lied to suspects. And so that's what I heard somebody say to me, one of the other police departments. So I don't know nothing about me. I think Mr. Bartender said, don't tell him anything about you. And sometimes you get trapped into it a little bit, but I do my best to wrestle out of it. Do your job. Why is he calling me back? He should be going and doing a wellness check. And he's getting all huffy with me. So then I hear Mr. Bartender say, call him back. You saw the call came in and you didn't take it. A normal person would call back. You're trying to find a help out. I said, well, did you check on him? Is he all right? No. Wait, what? Who are you? Where do you live? I'm like, well, Mr. Vartan lives at. No, who are you? I'm like, did you check on Mr. Vartan? I'm trying to evade him, fucking trying to find out who I am. Just, is my friend in trouble? Can you go fucking check? I gave him a little bit of information, I think, and then I got a call coming, gotta go. Boom, hung up. When I called him back the first time, I said, sorry, the phone got disconnected. He said, I was trying to get more information. I said, I'm sorry, the phone cut, whatever. I hung up. I didn't tell him that. I was disconnected, which is the truth. I disconnected. And damn, today I feel a little better now that I'm not like so dealing with people rushing my door. It feels like it's going to happen. My brother left a big sledgehammer here. You want to see it? It was right in my face when I went in the room the other day, and he had come here one day hobbling. I don't know how he got his hips broke, but he said he just had hip surgery done. Now my mom's fallen and having hip surgery. Like, so somebody's torturing my father or my brother, possibly my mother. I don't know. I stumbled upon something very strange and my kid's missing. Did my mother do it or somebody abduct it? My phone's been stolen, hacked, I think. And I'm seeing things on Chromebook that's making me say this Chromebook operating system is being hacked or somehow. How is this possible? With witchy powers, I don't know what they can do, but maybe that's behind it. Is Tia behind all of this? Is somebody she knows behind it? Is it the people in Ocean Beach that use my phone? It was strange when I tried calling them back to get that property to rent. They were like, quickly, no, it's not available. What's going on? So here I am today. And every time I'm trying to write down the research I did and recollect what's going on, I'm constantly being interrupted, like harassment. Like the doors slamming suddenly and I can't write down what I'm thinking because I keep getting distracted by noise that could be somebody rushing the door. And I got to protect myself. I mean, look at the size of this hammer. Why would my brother basically leave this here during what's going on with me? And he keeps telling me I'm crazy. Like suddenly he just cuts me off. Doesn't let me get the information I want out. Like he's trying to protect me somehow, some way. Don't let others look bad if you want your kid back. We can't say that. And long story short, so here I am, and I call back. Now here we get to the follow-up. I call back modoc. And I get a different officer, Ryan, and he starts asking me for the same information all over again that I gave the other day. I'm like, well, what's going on? I mean, do I have to give this all to you over again? And he doesn't. So he just starts. I forget what happened. Honestly, I'm on edge right now. I'm ready to like defend myself, find everything I need to. If I'm going to be attacked, to be okay out on the street. My pants are missing. I mean, it's been a bit of a, more than just a wrestling match. It's been like a marathon. Following my guidance counselor's advice is the most important thing. And he's helped me before. The water leak in the other room, which I thought Mike might have been responsible for, making worse, taking kickbacks from plumbers. Possibly. is an issue, and he told me fix that right away because that can do a lot of damage. Meanwhile, my brother was here at the time and whatever was coming, and I just went and did it. And like, whatever he told me, it was a job, but I got it done. It's back of the crap. I put putty like you wouldn't believe on this thing and stopped the leak. Hasn't leaked since. Because downstairs there's damage from before. Like, why is there some? And I caught the tub of the toilet had the hose running out the back that's supposed to be in the tub, in the toilet. So the dripping water down the side, somebody's dripping water purposely down the side of the house, of the walls. It's going to destroy his house. Mom's going to have to pay money. And if it's that guy living in the middle room and he's not paying rent, he's getting kickbacks from the plumbing. And my brother just doesn't seem to be seeing any of this or confirming it, denying everything and saying, I need to go see a doctor. So I didn't get anywhere with modoc just now. And so I tried to email Vartan and text Vartan, and it won't go out of my email. That's when I called Wayne, got into it with him. Then all crazy stuff started happening. I got to watch the door the whole time. Like he's slowing down talking, and I get really mad. I'm like, take my focus off and drain my battery when I might need that thing and have to hit the road and fight my way out of here if I'm getting lined up on. You know, outside was a bunch of cars this morning that I hadn't seen. I was being boxed in. And I can't get anywhere with any police. Seem to corrupt. Big racket and cracked it. And now FBI I called. They didn't have number 2 for national emergency. No other numbers to really get to anybody. I call, I give them the information. They hang up on me right away. I call back. Nobody will answer. There's the option to hit number 2 that I hit before is gone from the options within a minute. And I tell Wayne that because he's denying my reality. I said, did you ever try it? And he just, Mark, I want to hear it. Wayne said 2 things that were curious. Mom can't afford it. And another thing, I have to find that. I wrote it down. I'm going to make sure that information gets out too. So what am I supposed to do at this point? I've told him, we discussed the potential deal here for everybody gets $6 million, $1 million immediately, $5 million at the end, free all the slaves. I went on a little bit of a tirade, having fun last night, emailing, keep posting replies to the Armenian wiki from the main thread that talked about the world's largest lawsuit ever to end slavery in Modoc County with Deputy Dillon. And at any moment, though, everything could be all set up by witchy people that are terrorists. The voices in my head could all just be setting me to a point where I get a false sense of security and I get rushed. And that's that. Nobody finds Deanna ever again, slave somewhere. Or maybe she's not even alive anymore. Because the mother I don't trust for nothing. Day one, I mean, the divorce was just ugly. She just became an evil person. And she violated the court order. So my bet is, and that's my brother's trying to hint at, is that it's on my daughter's mother. All this. Yet I can't reach them because she claims I have a restraining order against her. Or she, vice versa. And the daughter. I'm like, that's not, no, it's horseshit. You violated the court order. And then stole it out of the file and then made up stuff, paid off attorneys. Her parents paid attorneys lots of money. Are they bilking the parents? Is this a whole giant networking business of using the children and fleecing the parents and their grandparents? Well, whoever's got the money, take it. And God knows what it does to the children. So I'm trying not to put my heart in the issue around it. Not worried about Deanna at all. But, you know, deep down, it's in there. I just have to ignore it and continue to do it for my mom because she wants to see Deanna. And she's up there in age and hurting and hunched over. And looks like she's being tortured. Burn marks on her arm. Like her whole forearm like this. Burnt the other day. And she told me it was burned. Somebody burned it. She won't tell me. She's like depressed and down and freaking out. If you touch her arm, she freaks out. Like both arms, any arm. Get away from me. Leave me alone. Have my brother tell me that she fell down again and is in surgery. I gotta keep that out of my head too. I gotta focus on finding Deanna. There's nothing I can do really for my mom to help her issue until I get this resolved. Because I can't go to the hospital, because if I try to go to where she is, I get harassed anytime I go out. I get surrounded. I get kicked out of places. It just doesn't make sense to me. There's a big operation going on when I was at the bar in town. Somebody there told me we're a big unit out of Arizona. This is New Jersey. What are you guys doing over here? I didn't say anything. So it sounded like they're unhappy with their situation and they're dropping clues, but they can't, they do it in code in a way. Hint, hint. And I get kicked out one day by the owner for nothing. I don't want to serve you. Why? You play stunts. I don't know what he said, but I asked him his name. He goes, what the fuck does it matter with my name? Or something like that. Batman or something. And I was like, that's rude. I said, what's your last name? But I had met his wife at the Dunkin' Donuts, and I praised that place. So I love that place. Maybe you guys want to do a dart tournament. Maybe he's mad that she talked to me. I don't know, jealous. What are you gonna do? A lot of bullshit happens to me that I don't deserve, I don't think. But people are people. We have our basics. Jealousy is one of them, and you gotta overcome it, right? Deal with it, or don't provoke it. And others, and you see it coming, you gotta get away. You can get hurt. People end up dead that way. So I don't even know now where I left off, because I'm a little on tilt from talking to my brother who's yelling at me, and the door being rushed, and the hallway making noise, and constant door clicks from there, and the fire potential up in the roof, and pitch being on the ceiling, which is awfully dangerous, could ignite, very flammable. You don't want that in here. You got to get rid of that if you see it. Tia taught me that up in the mountains. It's basically at the bottom of the tree. It was tipped over. It's like, this is pitch. What is that? Highly flammable. Okay. And I see the same shit up in here. I'm like, okay, you got to get that out of here. The trees are gone. It's getting hot. The sun's cooking on this thing. And easily with the light on, or somebody could just, this guy smokes a lot, flick a match, throw it up there, leave, get the insurance money, because mom can't afford the kidnapping fee. And that's what Wayne said. Mike's stealing from mom, but he couched it with words around it. So I think he was trying to get that data out. Now, I've been getting along with Mike, but I've also had issues with Mike, and confronted him, like, stop freaking leaving the door open and smoking in the house, or smoking by the door outside with the door open, and stop having cigarettes all over the freaking house. Mom can't breathe. What are you doing? You're not even paying rent. So eventually, every now and then, I give him hell. Mom won't lay down a law, so something's not right. Something's up. This whole kidnapping ring thing. What do they call it? An organized crime unit. Because the way they were brought up, But what does that one dude do? I'm not here to solve your problem, really. For Deanna and her mom, her grandmother, to get together. She might be dying, And I could give a shit what happens to you guys, but I know how the world works. Not you guys, but kidnappers, terrorists. Because I feel like I've been terrorized, and if I can't talk to my daughter, and the court system, I know for certain, bilks people a lot of money. But I got to make it happen so I get the daughter back. So how could I do that? Money. And let people save face somehow. The whole world become free. They don't have to do this to kids anymore. And when I started hearing Tia's voice, which I just heard again, last night I started proposing, like, one more thing. I heard Mr. Vartan's voice say, unseen, get me out. I'm in one of these joints that you see the videos of, terrorized gotta get me out. So I start poking for that. And then I hear Tia say no. Then I said, I gave him a deadline or something. I said, well, you know what? If I were president or whatever, and if we don't get a deal, there's going to be a problem. And I said, well, what would the Council of America do if they uncovered a terrorist organization and had to negotiate with them? And during this negotiation to get this kid back, they said, well, crazy father would say, well, screw it. I don't care about anything anymore. You took my kid. You took everything that mattered to me. Now I'm just doing this for my grandmother, and she's near death. So fuck it. My dad didn't want to live anymore without her. She's near death. Fuck it. Dad wanted to die. So what do I care about anybody else at this point? Dad wants to die. Mom's near death. Her grandkid's gone. She could be dead. Fuck it. How do we get that? What will we do to put teeth into this thing? Well, if you don't agree, you could have something that could make you guys all good, or you could have a situation where, I don't want to use the words because then you could say I'm a terrorist, threats and stuff. So I started looking into what would happen in Dill's, what don't I care about if it's something that had to do with Crawford.com? What is he like? How do we take that away from him if this deal doesn't go down? Dulzura, California, Dulzura. What's that look like? Oh, fucking mountain rocks. Who cares about that? I wonder what it would take to to put some pressure on that. The next thing you know, I'm watching a wrestling video, and the guy starts talking about a web page that might be launch codes, and I start looking at it, and I hear Tia's voice relaying everything I'm saying to Captain. I hear him speaking. Like, how are these people hearing what I think and see and talk? I don't understand. They're not here. Technology that exists that we don't know about yet, maybe. So I start inspecting the code on that page using HTML inspectors of a link about to click, and I go, oh, this must be it. Looks like that code at the end there, that's the key to tell you a target location. And so what you need to do is, and I tell him information this morning, I'm thinking, oh shoot, I might have told him how to find the codes to blow up crap. And they targeted me so that they could get that information because I was a database web developer. And but I was having fun goofing around watching the wrestling and telling stories on Armenia wiki, about the people who helped and trying to lighten it up and whatnot. And then I got a little huffy, started saying, well, what really could be going on here is this. And then I just started acting funky, smack talking to rile them up so that they'd make a mistake and then I'd win. And then later I eased up on it and said, I still love you. I'm just joking. So here we are. Still haven't gotten a missing child back. But I'm not being harassed at the moment. I'm hearing Tia's voice a little bit. And she been trying to set up Captain all along. See a terrorist or upset. Just an upset guy over the war. Made him crazy. Now he's backpedaling, trying to make good. Pissed off at the IRS. Maybe Deanna was always okay taken care of all along. And or they have to make a robot look just like her and know the difference. So it really got me going when the news on Haystack News on Roku channel, the Roku box, was talking about this just happened. I went downstairs in the morning. It seemed like everybody was all depressed. Like my mom's not around. I didn't know why. And I was being told, don't say anything about her being missing. I think it was Mr. Vartan's voice. So I just went about my day like I normally do, and I started cooking. Then I got to work to clean out the garbage that I had taken down from the attic. That's when I got approached. I'm like, oh boy, What's going on? A truck, one-way truck. I'm like, okay, people are moving in. When he pulled up and got out, the guy was across. Two guys came out from the corner already. I'm like, oh, they're watching him, or are they coming to get me? I hear a voice saying they're coming to get me too. They could get me. So this is intense. And I just want to play video games. So that's an update. That's where it's at. I've gotten nowhere with modoc right now. And I was more concerned with I may have to get out of this room and run before a terrorist tries to take me out. Because I caught him. Let me think. All the evidence points to that something went wrong. And maybe Karen is a terrorist, or her parents are. So whatever it takes to make this everybody save face or whatever, this deal go down so we get Deanna back. That's what I'm trying to make happen. I don't know if the whole world is seeing this or what. But it seems like I have to struggle with technology that's hacked, so I can't do. It's not fair. Who's not in on it is what's in my head, because we're all under duress in a way with financial slavery. Now what? Now I'm a little more comfortable after saying all that because I feel like it's got out. But Tia told me one time, you think you're getting out, but nothing's getting out. So and she said it's just fun to fuck with people. Well, yeah, it's kind of. But I mean, what are you talking about here? Queen of Horror. What are you doing to people? So I can't be sure about anything anymore. I've been hurt before by her. Punched me in the ass. She said, you said hit me. We were joking around. And I'm like, yeah, but I turned away and was walking away. And he dove at me and knocked me down. I went down for a month. Still have pain from it. And she's kind of laughing about it. So, could be it for me, folks. If this video ever gets out. Or either way, I'm going down swinging. Maybe I'll go up swinging. I don't know. But then I started saying, you know what? I'm going to go out with love. They come, I'm just going to love on them like my friend out in Ocean Beach. His name was Mako. He's probably still out there. He said he would parachute into a war, get in between them, and then like hit him with love. So that's what I did this morning when I went out and I saw this guy in the street, color guy in a white neighborhood, and I was like, he wanted his BB gun, thinking maybe this is from the Crawfords family. Looking at, because I was talking about last night, building trust. Rebuild trust. Start with little wins here and there, and gradually get more and more. And then trust is rebuilt. So I'm like, I'm not going to be afraid to live my life. I'm going outside. I'm not going off my property. If somebody comes on my property, they're breaking the law. I'm going to defend myself. Taking out the garbage. I'm getting rolled up on. As soon as I walk out the door, a guy walks in front of me with a dog. Next time I walk out the door, this car's going right by immediately. Now, this is a street that shouldn't be very busy, but when I go out, I am bombarded with things moving in front of me. And then today, this is really strange, but I've known this and I've seen this for a while. Planes are coming out of nowhere. They're uncloaking above J Ave, out by the train tracks. You can see them coming out by Stuyvesant, right over our house, like dive bombing. And it's synced, coordinated with people down on the ground that make noise. You look that way, and then boom, here comes a plane out of nowhere. I counted 30 times something moved in front of my eyes while I was sitting, going to the bathroom for 2 minutes, maybe. Like, there's some tech out there that I don't understand. And I start hearing the cop around the corner's voice. Oh, retired, Paul, telling me, yeah, it's an alien invasion. It's an alien force. 17 ships they sent, trying to get to the bottom of, well, what was that hole in the sun we saw in 2017 summer? And it just sounds like it's a no-win situation. Everything I throw at them, as in my head I'm talking out loud, or talking in my head, and he's hearing it, and I'm hearing his voice come back. And I know it sounds crazy, but that's what's going on with me right now. So I got video of it. I heard him tell me get video of it. So I go and get my camera to come back. I'm like, I'm tired of taking videos. This phone's being a pain in the ass, and I do it. And I could see it with my eyes, but I look at this camera screen as a video in it, and it's not visible in the screen. I'm like, how is this? It doesn't make sense. I could hear it, and I played back the video, and the video played it back, and I heard it in the video, but you didn't see it. And I upload it to YouTube, and then it appears in YouTube. I'm like, so they're hacking it. Hacking my phone or hacking a video or something. Or there's some kind of crap in my eyes. I've been put under up in the lookout area by a doctor getting colitis checkup. Colonoscopy, they call it. Dr. Severson. I forget the address, but it's on 299, I think. Been through a lot, man. And I hear Bobby going, yep. But why don't I hear from Bobby on text or a phone call? Is that being made up by their tech all just having fun with me? Does he have Deanna and he keeping it from everybody? Is she safe and sound? Is she hurt? Is she dead? Is she in another country? Was she tortured? Is she burned? Does she look, Mr. Vartan's like, don't say anything about it. Just let her settle in. She's probably hurt and abused. But I can't let my guard down. Because there's some weird shit going on here now. And at least in my head, my brother doesn't agree, but he's dropped information and he's prompted me for information in a way that it's like, okay, I got back up and away because that sounds like my brother's voice. It's on the phone saying it's him. What if it's another freaking actor or he's a robot because you're seeing robot dogs on the news now? What if the news is controlled by this force that's doing this stuff? I mean, it just goes on and on. This is like that Terminator scene where the detective is like, this doesn't require a shred of proof, but it's just so compelling. I hear Mr. Vartan say, Mark, and I can't hear the rest. He's talking to me, but I can't make it out. Noise coming from the other room. I go downstairs. I hear, call me, Mark, call me. Now the police told me, don't call him. It's harassment. I call him and I don't get him. They could come here and take me to jail. Why should I call him? Like, he has nothing to do right now with me finding Deanna. So what good is that? Just going to end the search because cops would come and get me, send me to jail. Or I die in jail, and then we're two dead, possibly. So just keeping up hope and keep myself safe while trying to negotiate safe return of a missing child. So I call up Bobby and I get nothing. I left a message because I couldn't get my sent message out, my emails out, the images to show the thread of what happened recently with these kidnappers. Because it was getting intense in the hallway with the noise, him constantly coming out suddenly. And at some points I wonder, like, am I in fucking another world? Did I die in a car accident? And this is just a hell that I was sent to? That's a lot of information quick. Well, not quick. It's been a long, drawn out day. 1 hour and 10, 11 minutes I did 20 push-ups in front of Mike. I heard bartender say, do 20. Every time I went into the living room, he was on edge, ready to like fight. And I didn't want to tell him. I'm debating, what do I do? How do I not like draw an attack from someone who's desperate to not get caught trying to set a house on fire? Arsonist trying to get insurance money because the mother won't pay or whatever. Just more torture, fun for the people who are doing torture. I'm thinking as I'm cleaning this shit up and getting dust on me and shit, dangerous, hard to breathe, asbestos or whatever the insulation is upstairs. I'm coughing a lot now. Can't get sick because I got to get this job done. Guy outside said use baby powder. That rolled up on me. So we're sharing information. Like, yeah, we're teaching each other things. That's kind of cool. But when he pulled his phone out, he pulled it out like it was a gun going to shoot me. But I happened to turn just as he did that. So I don't know. I might have got it in the eye. And I keep seeing stuff on the news. It looks like somebody's eye is goofed up. Like Bill, the president's. Like it's got like a red monster, robot, alien race thing going on. And he's cloaking police planes. House vibrating. We're on a spaceship that's being whipped around. Last night felt like, and the videos I was watching was like the alien craft was shot by missiles and taken off, and I'm staring at this little light, like stopping the light above is really bright. There's no way to get that off there, so it just brightened me. It's all an act. We've got the vibrating seat here going on and on right now. But it was vibrating like crazy last night. It felt like, the phone that was put in place over there instead of should have been on the ground. I go through it and it's prompting me. It was Mr. Vartan's voice saying, just read those numbers. Read whatever you feel. Just read those numbers faster. Come on, let's just get it done. A few more minutes ago, like I was the only one with the balls to fucking start shooting missiles to fix the situation. And I had to pick some places to start, and I was negotiating with. It felt like I was talking to Tia and Captain Crawford. It's time to say goodbye to this. I don't care. But I thought, and in a way, I was pretending like I don't know what power do I have to do that, but maybe I have angels that do. And I don't know what I did the other day because I can't remember my name. But I was with Cowboy when he was drunk. He told me a lot of shit. And if he's that connected in a Navy SEAL, he might have all his launch codes, and he gave them to me, and I wrote them down, and I did something with him, or I was under hypnosis when I was with him. I did some wild things recently because, I don't give a fuck no more. Or I could be bluffing all along. So I was talking like, you need to play poker. We could wrestle. Why don't you come over here? And I miss my friend. But if he's a terrorist, man, what the hell? Forgiveness. Sound like Tia was talking him into like, hey, he's a good dad. You guys are friends, and he needs, you need him like he needs you, and let's wrestle. He wants to wrestle instead of like throwing bombs at each other, and terrorizing kids, and fleecing people out of money. Am I imagining that this is a real potential deal, or am I just set up this whole time and everybody's done because mom's fucked, my brother's being a dick, dad's just dying on the couch, really not doing anything, and I don't want to deal with it. I just want to play video games. I gotta stay on edge. Well, that's an update for now. I'll let you know what I find out next.